Would you like to learn how to make this beautiful one-pot meal? Stay tuned to the next episode of Hilltop Stovetop. Hello and welcome back to Hilltop Stovetop, the show where we're teaching you how to make great meals in an ordinary kitchen. Today we're starting 2022 with a new series dedicated to Queen Elizabeth's Platinum Jubilee. So that's 70 years ago she became queen, and the reason I chose to do that is I happen to have a cookbook from the Teulon United Church Circle in 1953. This is the Coronation Cookbook. So this is a cookbook that was compiled to commemorate Queen Elizabeth's coronation. So I thought that it would be appropriate this year to focus on a few recipes out of this book, some tested and true recipes. I actually happen to have two copies of this book. Both of them, the covers are long gone, and my grandmother made new covers for them. And my sister has another copy. So between the three of us, we actually have all of the pages, and they're all very well worn and noted with what the favorite recipes are and so on. So a lot of the recipes in this are cookies and cakes and things like that. But I thought I'd start off with a main course dish. And I thought this is a good dish, no matter, sort of spans generations, because it's something that you can make ahead and pop in the oven. For those of you in this year who are still working from home, it's the kind of thing that you can have it all made up in the morning, and then at some point in the afternoon, when if you're taking a little break, pop it in the oven and it'll be ready for your supper. And it's called the 7-layer dinner. Now, I'm going to try to follow the recipe as close as I can. I'll be making a couple of adjustments, shall we say. But I think you can use a lot of different things in the vegetable portion of this. Of course, it is very much a 1953 recipe in that it's very basic sort of things. So we're going to start off with layer number 1, which is potatoes. And I've got my potatoes all peeled here. And the trick with this is you want to have them nicely thinly sliced. So I'm going to make that easy by using my mandolin. If you don't have a mandolin, that's okay. You can just slice them with a knife. But this will be a quick job. And I love these new mandolins where you're not worrying about getting your fingers stuck into things. There, that was pretty easy. Now, I got my casserole dish here, which I have oiled just to make it easy for cleanup at the end of it. I'm going to drop these potatoes in there. And it does say to make about a 1-inch layer. I think I've actually got a little bit more than 1 inch, but I'm sure that will be okay. And then at each layer, this is seasoned to taste, but at each layer I'm going to add in some salt and pepper. Okay, now layer number 2 is, some onions. So I've got, this is, I would say it's one fairly large onion that I've got diced up here. Layer number 2 is the sliced carrots. Layer number 3, it calls for a can of peas. Now again, we're looking back to 1953, where the majority of households wouldn't have had a freezer like we do today. So they were much more likely to have canned vegetables, and they would have used canned peas. I'm going to use frozen peas. And, you know, it does say in the recipe that if you use your can of peas, you also include the liquid that would have been in that. So what I'm going to do is when I get to the top layer, which is the other part of the liquid, I'm just going to double up on the liquid. Okay, so our next layer is the sausages, and I'm really kind of excited to try these ones because these came from my new favorite meat market, which is Miller's Meats here in Winnipeg. And these are a chicken and apple sausage. Now the recipe just says to use pack sausage is what it says. It wasn't really specific about whether it was beef or pork, or I think it's just sort of whatever you happen to have. I'm going to take these chicken and apple ones and I'm going to cut them in half, and that way when I go to serve it, everything is in sort of easy to divvy up portions. But there's one layer I forgot. Oh, you see how easy this is? I didn't, oh, yep, we're going to add in some rice. And probably should have put this in before I put the peas in, but I forgot. So we were going to add in a 1/4 cup of raw rice. And that's going to absorb up a lot of the liquid in this as well. Now, it does say to use, like I said, about an inch layer of potatoes and an inch layer of carrots. I think it really depends on the size of your family and the size of your casserole dish, how much you're going to put in there. There we go. And then our last layer is going to be, according to the recipe, was supposed to be tomato soup. Now, I didn't happen to have a can of tomato soup in my pantry, but I did have some mushroom soup. So I think that that will work very well. It would be, I think, okay if you used maybe some onion soup or something like that as well. And it says to dilute the soup with water, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to dilute it with some chicken broth. And like I said, I'm also going to add in some extra because we don't have the liquid that would have normally come in with the peas. Let's see, and nobody reminded me to put in the salt and pepper in our other layers as well. So we'll put it on first and then wash it down with the soup mixture. Get this on the good overhead shot here. There. And we'll pour this over the top. I can see how doing this with a tomato soup would be very nice as well. Could maybe even do it with canned tomatoes. So play it by ear depending on what's in your pantry. Now the next thing we're going to do, we are going to cover it. If you don't have a casserole dish like this Pampered Chef one that has a cover for it, you can cover it with aluminum foil. We're going to put it into, the recipe says a medium oven, which is about 350 degrees. The first hour, we'll leave the cover on it. And then the second hour, we're going to take the cover off so that those sausages will have more of a chance to brown. And one thing I didn't mention on this was we should give some credit where credit is due. This recipe was submitted by a lady by the name of Rose Florence. I'm assuming after 70 years that most of the ladies who put their recipes into this book are no longer with us. But if there's anybody out there who happens to know who Rose Florence is, this is her recipe. So we'll see you in a couple of hours when this is ready for dinner. All right, we are back. It's 2 hours in. I got to tell you, this Rose Florence must have been an amazing cook. because this smells awesome. Matter of fact, with those chicken sausages that I chose, it actually smells around here like I've got a roast chicken going here with all of the trimmings. So we're going to delve into this, and I hope that you did enjoy today's first video of this series based on the Coronation Cookbook from the Teulon United Church Ladies Circle in 1953. And we're going to dig in here now. All right. Of course, we want to go right down to the bottom. I love how the peas and the carrots look so pretty together. There we have it. So an all-in-one meal, one dish, everything ready to go, and it smells delicious, and it's nutritious, and pretty low fat actually, and I think that your whole family will enjoy this. So thank you for joining us today on Hilltop Stovetop, where we have made 7-layer dinner, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye for now.